Yes! This is me soaking up the sunshine, imagining if the day could get any better. And the answer is yes! I'm Shane Wood from Port Orchard Ford, and I'm here to present to you yet another incredible business and introduce you to the owners. And hey, listen, if you like local and supporting local, please also like and follow our page so we can keep bringing you more amazing content just like this. Now, today I'm down at a very special place, a place that I absolutely love eating at. It's one of the best restaurants in the business, frankly, of anywhere. And we're talking about the Bay Street Bistro. And I'm gonna introduce you to Brady and Deanna Miller, the owners of the place. And they're gonna talk to us about what inspired them to open this, what's on the menu, and how the heck do they make this food so good. So come on in, let's go see what they got going on. Awesome. So we made it into the bistro. Again, you got Shane. I'm with Brady and Deanna down here, the owners of the Bay Street Bistro. First of all, thanks for letting us come into your place and talk to you guys about it.
Absolutely. Our pleasure to have you in here, and I love what you're doing with this series.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Like I was just saying to you guys, I really do feel like there's some businesses in this town that have something special, and not to mention the owners behind them, that a lot of customers don't get an opportunity to see who they are, what they're all about, and what their inspiration of bringing all this together was. So
sure.
It's one of the reasons why I love doing this, and just get a kind of the behind the scenes deal there.
Absolutely.
Before we get started, I do have a fun question I usually ask somebody. My question for you guys is, give me a fashion trend that is embarrassing, but you used to just rock it.
Oh, geez. Let's see. That is a kind of a tough one, because I don't know how much I really dove into fashion. You probably did a little bit more, or unless you know.
Well, for you, being in a band when he was younger, those tight pants.
Oh, okay.
He crushed
that,
the skinny jeans.
On.
Oh yeah.
Before
I
skinny jeans.
Right.
Laced up the side.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. And how about you?
Leather pants. Yeah.
Being in fashion retail for 32 years, there was many different stages
Right.
of fashion, but I think it was it's very popular now, like the short boots.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the demi boots.
Boots,
Nice.
yeah.
She was wearing them when we first got together. Yeah.
Yeah. These guys got swagger. Like, I was wearing skinny jeans before skinny jeans were cool, okay? That's awesome. Okay, so you guys have a great backstory. I was reading a little bit about it on your page, on the internet, on the website.
Sure.
What got you guys into the restaurant business, and how long has the bistro been here in Port Orchard?
Yeah, well, actually, there's a funny kind of backstory with how we got into the restaurant business, because we had no experience with restaurant business anyway. We are both business people, right. But and working all over, well, I was working all over the country or the world, and going to restaurants, and Deanna was working all over Puget Sound, and we would often meet and kind of download over good food, have conversation and catch up and all that. And it's like, well, wouldn't it be nice if we could do that in Port Orchard,
Yeah.
And so Deanna whips out her phone, and it's going, I'm going to search for fine dining in Port Orchard, haha. And so she's like, oh, what's this Bay Street Bistro? And I'm like, isn't that a new place on the corner? And like, yeah. And this was about 2010.
Okay.
And so well, let's go try it. And then we enjoyed our experience. The food was fabulous. It was a quaint little place. It was just really that small place over in the corner.
Yeah.
And great dishes. We thought, oh, this is our spot now. And 4.5 years later, the server that we've come to know, and we knew the chef owner,
Okay.
John Strasinger, and who's involved with the Matt's Carter's Chocolates.
Right.
Yep. Used to be the owner. And
By the way, shout out Carter's. You guys are next.
oh, there you go.
Sorry.
So they did a great job on this menu, great experience, and the server, ended up saying, "Hey, they're thinking about selling, and or they are selling, and they have a prospective buyer and all this stuff. It may change." And we're like, "Oh no, we have 4 years of a place that we can go in Port Orchard, that is a little bit more elevated in terms of culture and cuisine and dining experience." And so we're like, "Oh no." And Deanna says, well, we would have bought it. And then
The
we said,
impulsive things we jumped into.
yeah, it was definitely an impulse thing. And obviously, Deanna says, well, if it falls through, give us a call. We did get that call, and we just looked at each other when we got the call. We go, I guess we're buying a restaurant.
Here we go.
And so it was like, at that time, it was like adding something in your grocery cart. It's like, oh yeah, and we're buying a restaurant. Okay,
Wow.
whatever that means. And so then our journey began, and we also had this vision of making it more ours, or expanding on from that, which is really how this evolved.
So what was this side over here?
This side in the middle here was the Realty office, Old Town Realty, which is now over here,
Right.
Don Hughes. And on this side was a piercing studio.
Okay.
So kind of a high-end piercing studio.
I think I remember them. That wasn't that long ago.
And yeah,
That
it
was
was
6-7 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, it was about, 2015 and 16.
Okay, yeah.
So we took over this spot and started working on it and did a ground up deal, which launched in 2019. So late 2019.
Since 2019, my wife is a teacher up at the high school. Her whole department came down here, and I think they've done a couple big banquets to finish the year. We've had our at the Ford store, our year-end banquet. We'll do another one down here, I promise. We love this place. But I mean, holy cow, what you've done in this place. Tell me about, some of the craftsmanship at the bar. You've got this amazing barn door. I mean, you guys have really put a lot of love into this place. So if you can speak on that, I'd love to hear it.
Oh, sure. So one of the things we started with is the notion of the building. On the placard out there, it says 1893. So we wanted to romance the era of the building and connect with that, because it's one of the things that we thought was really unique about this location is, unlike any place in Port Orchard, these high ceilings and the ceiling fans and
Brick.
the brick,
Look at these chandeliers.
And so we wanted to romance that, so and connect with that, and so we started with, hey, what they did in those days was do things out of wood. So we need really artisan woodworking, and we knew Michael Jackson is his name.
Nice. Very nice.
He's a musician and an excellent artisan woodworker. And we worked with him to design and craft the bar and barn door, and he did some other elements too. And so with the bar,
We can show this. I really want to get in on that.
this is done with all old school type of style of using dowels instead of screws or nails. The wood is mahogany from the Gibson Guitar Factory. On the bar top, and then we have modern elements, including being able to plug in your laptop or your charging for your phone. So
Wow.
underneath, and So we have ones between every stool on that side and through this side. Let's see. We wanted to take some of the things in Port Orchard, like the street lamps of Port Orchard, kind of that industrial look. So kind of a rustic meets the elegance of like the chandeliers, which were also part of the era, in the going into the Roaring 20s.
Wow.
Kind of speakeasy type of feel, the warmness of the wood, and then layer over a local artist's work. From these images to these pictures are all local artists, and then from an experience standpoint, have local musicians as well come and provide a kind of another curtain of an environment here, and we used.
So in other words, you just basically threw it all together and didn't put a lot of thought into it.
Yes, sort of something like that.
Sure.
No, obviously, I mean, just the design elements and how you brought all of these different pieces together to create this product. It's absolutely beautiful, and I tell you what, to be able to come in here, have a nice evening with a loved one or a friend or anyone, I mean, you could really make a pretty special night out of this real easily. So absolutely beautiful. I love that barn door. Before we leave, make sure you get a shot of that. You have a super Mediterranean Italian vibe. We've seen some restaurants that have that. You mentioned that you've kind of been all around the world and stuff. So tell me what really inspired the mostly the menu, but also some of the rest of the place as well.
Yeah, sure. From a menu standpoint, that the core of that we wanted to maintain. Chef John, who started it, did an amazing job. He was inspired with a lot of the Italian and kind of Long Island from his background. And we kept a lot of that and wanted to expand on that a little bit. And so sort of with the vibe here is sort of a extension on Mediterranean and French, like New Orleans.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were inspired with New Orleans.
Like Creole,
Yeah.
kind of some of that, and I tell you what I'd love to do is when we did our banquet here, we did it in the VIP room. Would you
Yeah.
mind showing me that, and maybe we can finish the conversation there?
Yeah,
Sure. Would that be okay?
absolutely.
Thank you.
I'll lead
meet
the
you
way.
up there.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
So tell me about this VIP room. This is there's artwork all around. Brad, if you can kind of span around and show us some of the artwork. It's got these old leather looking couches that are also super comfortable. You've got some of that New Orleans vibe, jazz going on in the pictures. And it's just a really cool space. I could just imagine coming up here. You're not allowed to smoke inside, but it just makes me think, man, where's my cigar and where's a
Sure.
a big glass of wine or some whiskey? And tell me about this place. Can we eat in here? Is this a special, or can anybody just come in here? Or tell me about this space in particular.
Sure. Well, we originally designed this to have special room for groups to come in. Yep. And reserve ahead of time, and that's what was happening prior to COVID, shutting things down. So people come in here prior to dinner and hang out. People have meetings here. There's a number of the local business people who have meetings here. We've had POPSA here, and we've had Rotary folks come here. But the idea is really to have this room where people can connect, and you notice that the way that it's designed is everybody is facing each other.
Yeah.
It acoustically, you can hear everybody. You can have, you know, a storytelling that's going on, coming around, or you can have multiple conversations. And so really, a lot of our design is about people connecting
Right.
and conversation, because that's really what an experience is about. It's not just about, you know, great food. It's about and great drinks. It's about an entire experience. It's about connection,
Right.
and that's what this provides. And I even do this or use this room. I bring in my board of directors from my software company, and we have our board meetings right here because it's a better environment than a boardroom table.
Sure.
You
Or
know.
Zoom nowadays.
Yeah. And you know, we can have a cocktail and small bites, and that's how people are using this room. Anything
Yeah.
else? Or
Tell me about Crystal Ledoux. I see her on most of these photos that you have here, and she is incredible. Is she local?
She is local, out
Yeah.
of Port Orchard. All of the paintings in this room are all from her, and upstairs here is all her. Even the pillows.
Wow.
Yeah, she has a website, so you can get
Yeah,
everything
I'll have
from
to check her
shower
out.
curtains to comforters.
And
pillows.
interestingly, is like those aren't that expensive. I mean, you see photos like that. Shoot, I have an art gallery, not hating, but there was a cow. My wife and I joke about it all the time, and it's like $2,000 for this picture of the cow. I'm like, holy cow! I'd rather
Holy
have
cow.
that guy. Yeah, exactly.
love it. Yeah.
So the food, we've heard about some of the inspiration. The old owner was the owner's chef. Now, tell me about the chef you have now. How do you keep the talent in here, keeping the product and the standards so high? Because it's just incredible.
Well, yeah, and Shane, what you're talking about is a standard. So one of the things that we intentionally did here, and kind of drawing from our business background as well, is trying to create something bigger than ourselves and bigger than anybody. Its own thing that can be passed on. Obviously, there was a different owner before, and be able to extend that brand no matter who owns it, no matter what chef is in the kitchen and who is in the front of the house. With that said, yeah, we look for excellence and you know, have high expectations of delivering this consistency that a lot of restaurants talk about being challenged. And it really starts with aligning with the brand. And so who we have in the kitchen now is Chef Candace, and she is wonderful, awesome, and we've had a number of great chefs and that have moved on, and it's kind of a stepping stone in their career where they've been able to embrace their creativity with our Sunday suppers and wine dinners,
Right.
and so they're creating something new every week. We do a Sunday supper theme based on you know, popular events, or maybe it might be time relevant, or geo micro, you know, so like Basque Country or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
And it gives a chance for them to just kind of show their stuff, and you know, it's kind of like layering on another thing on what our core is their nuances of what they like to do, and
It's art.
Yeah.
It really is.
it's a
I love that you mentioned, you know, in my business, we talk a lot about with good processes, you don't have to rely on the need to hire amazing people. You can just train amazing processes, and really most people can learn that. And if you have an amazing product and spectacular processes, really you can find some talented people, and the product never dwindles, right? It always stays at a super high standard. So I respect that. Speaking of, well, go ahead.
Oh yeah, and same with the front of the house. We have Carla on the front of the house, and you know, people come in for her old fashioned. It's one of the, she adds this extra thing in where
A little secret
Nobody can
recipe.
duplicate
you know,
it.
we're like, okay, we like to have this brand standard, and I think Kaylee and others can make a good old fashioned that's pretty close, but some extra love that comes in from Carla, and so people go like, "Oh, Carla's here, yeah, it's old fashioned night."
That's what it is.
And our sales of that old fashioned
that's
has
interesting.
gone up quite a bit. And initially people go like, "Oh, geez, that's maybe a lot for that," but then they have it and they're like, "Oh
I'll
no,
take
I get
two
it."
more.
Yeah.
Like, sir, slow down. So we've talked about the employees. I know you guys have an awesome staff here. I alluded to earlier, I wanted to talk about some of the accolades that you guys have. You've won a ton of awards. I read online you guys actually came in second in whatever the class was, high-end fancy restaurants, and Canlis won. And I've been to Canlis, and $800 later, my wife and I had an amazing night. But
yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah.
We couldn't believe that was even possible. So that was Evening Magazine Best of Western Washington 1 year, but there's I think 3 years that we came in the top 5. I think we came in 3rd, and I think that we came in like 5th or something like that.
right.
And we were just astounded and I think it's really a passion of our guests for the experience, that they feel connected. We do something different here than other places. We view it as similar to like when you bringing guests into your home.
Sure.
Like that, where we describe it
Great
as
host.
we just happen to have a good host and a great cook or chef, in this case, and we consider our notice we say guests and friends, and when we address our guests, they're friends. I come up here and often have drinks with our friends from the bistro,
Right.
and so. I know I was kind of going on a little.
No, it's wonderful, and I'll attest to, like, when we had our banquet here, Brady was in here. He was walking us around the facility, told us about some of the artwork and what's on the menu, and it was a wonderful introduction to the business and the experience, and it ended up being an awesome night. Obviously, you've got a lot of aspects in this business that create the total picture. But tell me, what are you guys most proud of when it comes to what you've created here?
I think part of it is a connection with the community. We did this for the community, to have a place that similar to where we were coming from is have this culture, and I think one of the proud things that we have. I mean, certainly the accolades are great. We have a great team, and we're proud of that. But to have our guests say the things they do, like you were the last check mark that we had in terms of moving to Port Orchard. That you're changing the culture of Port Orchard, elevating, providing a different type of experience that I don't know if I could handle moving over here from Seattle, West Seattle, without something like this.
Right.
So really proud of that. Anything else to extend on?
Yeah, I mean, our guests have been very supportive of us throughout the years, and they have become family members.
Right.
When we don't see them for a while, we worry, and we have some of their numbers, so we call and check on them.
Yeah.
So they've become our extended family, and they've been highly supportive through the challenging times recently, and
Absolutely.
we're grateful.
Yeah. Tell me about how, obviously, thank God we're almost done with the COVID pandemic, at least in terms of how it's going to affect business. There was a lot of people that didn't make it. There was a lot of restaurants that closed, frankly. Some that were good favorites of mine, especially over in Seattle. How did you guys grind through that? What was that like?
Well, it's extremely difficult, and we wanted to, make sure that we had some continuity for our guests that now, wanted to still, or that they still wanted to have food like that, but the challenge was we're taking out the experience of being here, and which was really challenging. So we pretty much did whatever we could, extended hours, so we could do enough business to support the continuity.
Right.
Well,
and employees and bills and all of the other things that go along with.
And it's our commitment to just we're not doing this for ourselves. We're doing it for the community. It's and our so our guests, our employees. It's really beyond really ourselves, and that was never really the intent. Of even endeavoring here. So
again, glad it's over. I think we'll see. 30th can't come soon enough. So we've talked about your typical customer. I was going to ask you that, but I guess to wrap up, what I would ask, and I'll actually ask you, if you could only eat one dish that you guys serve here for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
Oh gosh, that's a tough one. Probably one of the reasons why we were coming here prior to owning it, I would always get the boeuf bourguignon, and Brady would always get the scallops. So those are, I think, both of our favorites. And our pork chop, you've never had a pork chop like the pork chop that we have. It's incredible. We have people that go, ooh, I don't eat those big, thick pork chops. But once they have a bite, they're like, where's the bread
my
so
God,
I can
it's
sop
insane.
up the
The
sauce?
sauce,
Because it's just amazing. And it's in-house smoked and brine. It takes, a minimum of 2 days of love before we grill it and give it to you. Yeah.
Oh,
so.
wow.
yeah, and I think Chef Candace is going to be cooking that up and maybe another dish as well.
Yes.
Yes.
So-
One of the best parts about these interviews is sometimes me and my camera guy get some food, and I love that.
Yeah, and I'd say that the pork chop is probably the most unique, and so if I were to answer that question, I'd probably say that because I can't get anything close to that anywhere else. Some people say about the boeuf bourguignon, I've been to Burgundy and had boeuf bourguignon over in France, and it's like this is beyond that, and I'm like, wow, another thing to be proud about. I mean, really, we just have a fabulous team here, and really appreciate that we had something to work with to begin with, and proud of where we've been able to go, as a team and as part of the community.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say thanks again for having us. You guys are truly gracious hosts and owners, and what you guys have built here is special in Port Orchard. And I know I can speak for a lot of other community members in saying thank you for struggling through the pandemic, and it's all blue sky from here, hopefully.
Well, thank you, Shane, and appreciate you supporting local business. At Port Orchard Ford, you have a great operation there, and I love the team that comes here, and become friends with some of those of your team. So I really appreciate you being part of the community.
Awesome. Thanks,
Right.
brother. Yeah. Right on.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Pop into the bistro and see what we're talking about.